Hi, this is Sweet June, back at you with another interesting video topic. I hope everybody's doing great today. I'm doing good. I feel great, doing good. What I want to talk about is I want to talk about being single after 50. Being single after 50. Let me know in the comment section if you guys are 50 and over single. Let me know how you feel about it. How do you feel about being 50 and years old and still single? Whether you have never been married or you got married and you got a divorce, let me know how you feel about that in the comments section. Sound off in the comments section for me. Um, I will say that um, I'll be 52. Lord, I'm forgetting my age. I'll be 52 here coming up in August. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to keep it real. I never expected to be still single at my age. I never expected to be still single at 50 years old. So I don't, I know when I first turned 50, I know once I got to be 45. Well, I wanted to get married when I was in my 20s. Like after I had my oldest son, um, I was hoping to marry his dad. The hope was to marry his dad and then we could be a family and then maybe I could maybe have another child or two and we could have been this happy family. But it didn't work out that way. Things didn't work out with his dad. Um, you know, he proved he didn't, I'm not bashing him or anything, but he didn't turn out to be a good father figure or I didn't think he was going to be a good father figure. I didn't think he was going to be good husband material for me. So I just didn't think it was best to carry on the relationship, you know. And I really don't think he wanted to get married anyway. He said he did, but I don't know. The jury's still out on that one. But it just didn't work out. You get into relationships sometimes, and even if you have a child with someone, it still may not work out. I mean, that's life. I mean, you have a child by someone, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. So you still wind up being single. My youngest son's dad, um, we just we wasn't really together. I don't really want to go into all that in that too much, but um, he definitely wasn't marriage material, and we wasn't really in a relationship like that. Um, so that was a no go there. So I was hoping that after I had my youngest son, that I would be able to. I got online, I got my first computer shortly after I had my youngest son, which was in 2000, and I took pictures and everything. And back then, Black Voices was popular back then. BET had message boards. Message boards were popular, and BET had a message board, and they had the site called Black Voices. Let me know in the comment section if you guys ever got on Black Voices and Black Planet and MySpace. Let me know in the comment section if you guys ever got on Black Planet, or I think they still got Black Planet. I know a while back ago I checked my Black Planet account. I haven't been on there in a long time, but I think my Black Planet account is still active. I checked it a while back. I haven't checked it, you know, in a long time, but I think my Black Planet uh, profile is still on there. It's under Small Town Queen. So I think it's still on there. Not sure if it's still on there. But anyway, I had a Black Planet account and I had a uh, um, MySpace used to be really popular back then. Back in 2000, MySpace was really popular. So I had a MySpace account, um, and I was on Black Planet, and the message boards and chat rooms were real popular back then. So I post my picture on Black Planet, and after I had my son and I had this black dress on, and I got like 60 something hits off of that thing. And I did do some online dating. I did, well, a little bit, you know. Um, but that didn't work out. That didn't work out. And so I was hoping to find a potential mate then, but didn't work out. So I just got really discouraged. Like after a while, I just got discouraged and just quit the online dating thing altogether. Um, a lot of people got married. They met people online and they get married. There's some horror stories out there too, so be careful. But I just got really discouraged by the whole online dating thing, so I just kind of scrapped that. So just as time went on, as more years went on, I was like 32 when I had my youngest son, and so was hoping to find a mate, you know, a mate for me, a good mate for me, and a potential father figure for my sons, and never happened. So each year as time went on, each year I was raising my sons and everything, and shocked every year that didn't meet anybody. And then I became a Jehovah's Witness, and when you become a Jehovah's Witness, it's highly recommended that you marry someone within the organization. Because the Bible says you have to be evenly yoked. The Bible says do not be unevenly yoked. So it's highly recommended that you marry somebody. I almost didn't, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I almost didn't become a witness for that reason. I almost did not become a witness because that was the very reason. Because at first I was like, well, my options are already kind of narrow. Then if I become a witness and if I can only, it's highly recommended that I only marry somebody that's in the organization. Then my options are, because most men in the organization are already married. Most majority of them are already married. So but it's a big organization. There's Kingdom Halls everywhere. It's a worldwide organization. So it's a possibility that I can go somewhere else and meet a brother. You just never know. But the Bible does say, it's based on Scripture. If they don't do or say anything that's not based on Scripture, do not be unevenly yoked. Like if you're a Baptist, then you probably should date a Baptist, or marry a Baptist. Because if you're a Baptist and you mess around and you marry a Catholic, y'all gonna bump heads. Y'all gonna bump heads. Y'all not evenly yoked. Because Catholics believe one thing, Baptists believe another. So if you a Baptist and you marry a Muslim, y'all gonna bump heads because that's a totally different belief system there. Then so that's why the Bible says do not be unevenly yoked. So you need to marry someone. If you're a Baptist, then you need to marry a Baptist. If you're Catholic, marry a Catholic. If you're a Buddhist, marry a Buddhist. And if you're a witness, highly recommended you marry a witness. So I mean, it's no guarantee if you marry a witness that person's gonna always be a witness. But then the Bible also says that if you're married to an unbeliever, then you should stay with them, because God hates the divorcing. So the Bible also says that as well. So, but it is not recommended that you marry someone that's not a believer. If they convert, you meet them and they convert, then that's one thing. So, but like I said, I almost didn't become a witness because of that, and I just thought my options would be even more narrow. But then I thought, well, I really wanted to serve God. I really, really wanted to serve God. I really wanted to dedicate my life to God, and I really wanted to serve God. So I was like, well, ultimately, that's most important. That's more important than me finding a mate. So my relationship with God is more important than me finding a mate. So that's, when I went on to proceeded to um, join an organization. And so, um, but as time goes on, um, haven't found anybody in the organization that you know is a potential suitable mate, because witnesses marry, they date to marry. They don't they don't do things like the world do it. They they date to marry. Like if you date someone, then 9 times out of 10, that's going to be your husband or your wife, because they date to marry. They don't date this person and then date them for a while and then, okay, well, things don't work out, drop them and then go date somebody else. They don't do that. They don't do things that way. They date to marry. So, and then I was kind of thrown by a loop at first. I was kind of thrown by you have to have when you do date somebody, it's recommended that you have a chaperone. You guys have a chaperone, and I was a little messed up by that at first. It's like, I was a little messed up, but now I understand, you know, why, what the reasoning is for that, and I understand it now, and I kind of embrace it now, actually, to be honest. So, um, because then that way, if I find somebody in an organization and I'm dating him, then you can't try no funny business with me while you're on the date. You know how that is, because there's a witness there. So you know how that is. You know how that could be sometimes, ladies. So you just never know. So I find myself turning 50, and I just, especially when I got to be 45, I was like, seriously? I'm 45, and I'm still haven't found, a suitable mate. I'm like, wow, just really shocked. I got to be 45 and still single, you know, was very, very discouraged, very, very frustrated. Um, didn't want to raise my children by myself. I would have liked to have a suitable mate to help me raise my kids, but I didn't have that. So I mean, after a while, I came to the conclusion, well, I guess I'm in this thing for the long haul. So now both of my sons are grown, and it would be nice to have someone to share my golden years with. Now that I'm over 50, but I know at one time I got really depressed about it. A while back ago, I got depressed, and like a lot of women, a lot of women get to a certain age and still find themselves single. They get depressed after a while, and um, you go through stages. You go through a depression, then you kind of you go through a loneliness phase, and some people it's a continual thing, but I kind of went through different stages, and then I went through a stage where um, I don't think didn't think that I would be able to be happy without a mate, and I didn't really believe that I could. There was a possibility that I could be happy without a mate, but now um, I can see that possibility now. I can see that possibility. I can see that. Um, I actually believe. I guess what I'm trying to say is I actually believe that a woman can be happy without a mate. You can live a fulfilling life without a mate, believe it or not. I believe that now, whereas before I didn't believe that. There was a time where I did not believe that. There was a time that I didn't believe, because happiness starts with you. Happiness starts with you. Happiness, you can't base your whole happiness off of being with a mate. Because what if you get married and that person is making you miserable? that person is abusive, he's mentally, or he could be physically abusive, or he could just be a jerk. If you marry somebody and they turn out to be a jerk, are you gonna be happy? Not gonna be happy. So you can't base your happiness off of uh whether if you have a mate or lack thereof. Yet that happiness has to come from you. And it took me a long time to get to that point. It took me a long time to get to that place to where I fully understood that. I guess it took getting older and really fully understanding that, and now and believing that, and now I believe that yes, a woman can live a fulfilled life without a mate. So now I'm at a place now. I got really discouraged. A part of me is still kind of discouraged and disappointed that I didn't find a mate before I was 50. Never expected to be 50. I mean, when I turned 50, I was like, wow, kind of shocked. It's like, yeah, I'm happy to be 50, but didn't expect to be still single at this age. So was kind of disillusioned, kind of very disappointed. Um, but now I'm at a place now to where I'm learning to embrace being single. I'm learning to embrace because I prayed, I did a lot of praying, and I've learned to embrace being single. And then sometimes I look at other women's situations, and I look at there's a lot of women out there being abused mentally and physically, and there's a lot of marriages where women are going through a lot of different things. And I sometimes look at that and I consider myself blessed because I'm not in a situation like that. I say, well, shoot, I'd rather be single than to be caught up in something like that. I'd rather be single. So that's the conclusion that I came to. I came to the conclusion that I'd rather be single than to be with someone that is not right for me. They're mentally abusive, physically abusive, or they're just a jerk. It's just not the right guy. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're with the wrong man, that could make you completely miserable. You're with the wrong guy. It's very, very important that if you're going to get married, then you need to be with someone. That's a serious commitment, a lifelong commitment. It's not something to be taken lightly. So you got to make sure you get somebody that's, I want somebody that loves Jehovah God more than he loves me, you know. So um, I'm learning to because we live in a couple's world. We live in a couple's world where you know people are always coupled up and everything like that. And um, unfortunately, us women are kind of programmed. Unfortunately, we're kind of programmed to think that um, we're supposed to be married at a certain time in our life, and that's not true. You can get married at any age, and it's okay to be single, and it's okay to not get married. But we live in a world where if you're a woman and you're still single at a certain age, then people look down on you. They look down on you and say, what's wrong with you? You don't have no husband. You ain't never had no husband. And people be looking down at you when you're a woman, not so much when you're a man. Men get a little scrutiny, but not so much when you're a man, but more so when you're a woman and you're over 50 and you've never been married. People kind of looking at you like, okay, what's wrong with you? Something must be wrong with her. You know? Can't be something wrong with the men. Gotta be something wrong with you. You know? I think, I'm too good for a lot of these men out here. The men that I was with, I was too good for them. They say you'll never be the right person for the wrong person, no matter what you do. So, um, it's a lot of scrutiny, a pressure on women to get married at younger ages, and then when you don't, then there's judgment there, you know, particularly if you've been a single mother. So, um, I can see why a lot of women have that mindset. I had the mindset, that I needed to be married at a certain age, and if I wasn't married at that age, then um, I never thought that something was wrong with me. I know that I'm a good woman. I know that I have a lot of good, wonderful qualities. I'm fully aware of that, you know. So I've never even went there. I never went there to the point to where I was like, well, what's wrong with me? I I'm fine. You know, I'm a good woman. I have a lot of good qualities, So I never went there. But some women go there, they think it's something wrong with them. But, I never went there on that. There's a lot of good people out here that would make potential good mates that are not married, you know? So, and there's a lot of people that are married and they're not a good mate. So just because you're married doesn't mean that you're a good mate just because you have a marriage mate. You have a marriage mate, that don't make you a good mate. If a woman's married, that doesn't make her a good mate because she's married. Or that doesn't necessarily make her a good woman just because she's married. Because she could be a horrible wife. Just because a man is married doesn't make him a good man. He could be a horrible husband. He could be out there cheating on his wife and everything under the sun. So just because someone's married that doesn't determine your worth. Marriage doesn't determine your worth as a person, or whether you married or not. Doesn't determine your worth, and it doesn't determine whether you're a good person or a bad person. I know plenty of people that are single and they're good people, and they would make a potential good mate to someone. But I know married people that are horrible mates. They're not very good people, So if you're not a good person before you get married, you may not be a good person after you get married. So getting married does not make you a good person, or not being married doesn't make you a bad person. So that shoots that theory out of there. So, but after you find yourself single after the age of 50, you can be happy. You can be happy without a mate, and you can live a fulfilled life without a mate. I think about the things that interest me. If you can do some of the things that you've always wanted to do. You can think about some of the things that you want to do in your life that you could devote more time and energy to. Not having a mate. You could serve God better. You could get a closer relationship with God. Not having a mate. So there's lots of advantages to not having a mate, and you can actually learn to embrace not having a mate after 50. And that's where I'm at right now in my life. Am I disappointed? Yes, I'm disappointed that I didn't get married up to this point. But at the same time, um, I'm at a place now where I'm learning to embrace being single. I raised my kids. My kids are grown, so I'm learning to embrace, being single and learning to enjoy my life regardless of whether I have a mate or not. I made a decision a few years ago that I was not going to let not having a mate determine my happiness. Because some people, they let that determine their happiness. A woman doesn't have a mate, she's like totally miserable. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to let not having a mate determine my happiness. I'm going to try to be happy regardless of whether I have a mate or not. Because like happiness starts with us. So I'm going to try to be happy. I'm going to try to get to happy regardless of whether I have a mate or not. I'm not going to let not having a mate determine whether I'm happy or not. If I'm unhappy, it's because of some other areas in my life. When I get depressed, it's because of other areas in my life is the reason why I'm depressed. It's not because I don't have a mate. That's on the bottom of the list. When I get depressed, trust me, there's some other reasons why I'm depressed. It's not because I don't have a mate. Because realistically, we can get married at any age. And they say some of the most successful marriages is where the people were older when they got married. Yes. So there's something to think about too. They say statistically, I think Now, don't quote me, but I think they say statistically marriages last longer when the people are older when they get married because you're more mature and you have more life experience and everything like that coming into the marriage. You're more mature, you're more settled, all that kind of stuff. So I can definitely understand and see how that could be. So let me know in the comments section if you guys are still single after 50. How do you feel about being single after 50? Do you want to get married or do you want to remain single? Do you believe that if you remain single, you can be happy and live a fulfilled life? So sound off in the comments section. Let me know how you feel about being single over 50, whether you've never been married or divorced, whatever your status is. Let me know how you feel about it. Like and subscribe to my channel. I got some more interesting video topics coming up, so stay tuned. This is Sweet June.